Welcome to Set the Record Podcast. I'm Malcolm Anthony. Subscribe to the show wherever you listen. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Set the Record Pod. Like the Facebook page, Set the Record Podcast. Great show, jam-packed for you today. We've been gone for quite a while. Set the Record is back. We've been gone since about February. So I got a lot to talk about. Go through the list real quick for you. Look, February 1st, I got the quick breakdown here, okay? I always got my notes. You guys know me. Tom Brady retired from football February 1st down the timeline. It's the first thing we missed as Set the Record. We were supposed to be here, but we're back. And honestly, I'd like to say when Tom Brady did retire, I think we all felt vindicated. Like football was free again. Like we all had a chance to win a Super Bowl. That was short-lived, but I'll get to that. February 2nd, just the next day, my Washington football team found a name. And I bet you couldn't have guessed this because I couldn't have. I thought it was going to be Admirals. Admirals was wrong. I would rather be the Admirals because they chose the Commanders. The Commanders? Come on, man. They caught with their pants down. The Commandos, more like it, man. It's completely embarrassing. They could have done anything but pick a more horrible name. So I'm actually considering leaving the franchise myself. So we'll see how that goes. February 13th, we missed the Super Bowl, the biggest football game of the year. I was so sad. I wanted to be back for that. The Rams won that Super Bowl, and I had that right. On paper, Joe Burrow had to do everything to win that game, and that was never going to work out, especially with all the weapons they have on the other side. And losing OBJ to another terrible injury is just par for the course for that man, unfortunately. Best receiver in the game, Cooper Kupp, won the MVP of that Super Bowl. Also got the Triple Crown. Some would say he's the best receiver in the NFL. We'll see what happens next year. He definitely had that this year. I move on to March because I'm so excited to get to March. And of course, it starts with a baseball lockout, the 9th stoppage in MLB history. Only the 9th. I'm shocked because these players, they make a lot of paper and they always want more. This was the second longest stoppage in MLB history at 99 days. And then they came back really to not skip a beat, playing all 162 games. So another championship will be crowned this year. March 13th, the same day baseball comes back. Guess who also comes back from retirement? Tom Brady. Dude couldn't hold back. On baseball's biggest day, we're back. Tom Brady also had to overshine that as well. And that's special because that guy, he's kind of, since he's been in Tampa Bay, it seems like he's always had to have a moment, like to overshine something. Just like when he got knocked out of the playoffs, he had to go and retire and take someone else's moment from another playoff victory. So that's Tom Brady for you right now. Unretired and back with the Bucs. This is sadness, by the way. I was devastated to hear that he was coming back to play some football. But that is part of it for a guy who yearns to play football. In his own message, he said, these past 2 months, I've realized he's still got a place on the field, and that stands to play now. The time will come when he is retired. That time is not now. He loves his teammates. He loves the support from his family. And is coming back for his 23rd season. And he says unfinished business, LFG. Is that let's fucking go? That's Tom Brady? Let's fucking go? I love that. I do love that a little bit. That's pretty hard of Brady right there. March 21st, Deshaun Watson. We've all heard of Deshaun Watson, one of the premier caliber talents in the NFL. A guy really on the field we have no questions of. He got Baker Mayfield's job, and Baker didn't even know he was losing the job. Like, a guy who got 22 allegations just jacked your job, and he ain't played football for a year. It's pretty cold. Look, Deshaun's 26 years old, guaranteed $230 million. He's led the NFL in passing one season. And like I said, he hasn't played a snap since January 9th of a few years back, Lord. And he got 365 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. But it's been a long time since we've seen Deshaun. We'll see. We'll see what that looks like. We've got March 23rd hit us. Another big... we missed a lot of stuff. Another big thing happened March 23rd. Tyreek Hill, the cheetah, is a Dolphin now, okay? From land to water, he doesn't care. He'll do it anywhere. The trade with the Chiefs, huge trade, 5 picks for the Chiefs. First round, a second round, 2 fourth rounds, and a 6th. Also freed up $70 million in cap space. $70 million goes a long way for a team who just dropped $250 million on Patrick Mahomes. So that's going to go pretty well for them to bolster up that receiving core, and we'll talk about that down the road. So many things occurred while we've been gone. And Set the Record is so glad to be back. I'm glad to be back in the studio to do this. And I don't know if you guys know this. I'm one of the biggest March Madness bracket filler out. I fill out 15 brackets. And this year, unfortunately, I only filled out 3. And 2 of them, I picked the right one. Right? I chose Gonzaga in my second bracket. I chose Kansas in my first one. And in the ladies' side, I chose South Carolina. Not too bad. So both of those teams ended up getting great wins. April 3rd, the women's side, South Carolina, the Gamecocks, they beat the UConn Huskies 64-49. And we weren't a part of that, but I was watching from home and from afar. It was a beautiful game. And it was awesome to watch those ladies overcome such a crazy season. In fact, really, they looked like they were going to be world beaters the whole time, and they got into the tournament, and they were. KU, Kansas University, University I hate, a state I hate. I had them winning it from the beginning, only because once they get there, they always seem to win. And this wasn't a year that Oklahoma State beat them. So I actually thought Kansas had a chance to win, oddly. And they ended up going against a team in North Carolina who dogged their way all the way to the freaking the finals. And an injury to their best player, number 5. I cannot remember his name right now. And that guy limped up and down the floor playing his heart out, only to lose the game, but it was really awesome to watch, and Kansas unfortunately got the victory. I picked that, so it's bittersweet. Yay. April 6th. This is why I'm wearing this Laker stuff today. This is why I got the hat. This is why I got the Kobe shirt. Look, the Lakers missed the playoffs April 6th officially, with a record of 33-49, 16 games under 500. Completely embarrassing. And there's a few reasons why this could have occurred. People blame Russell Westbrook. I'm not one of those guys. Russell didn't fit in this offense and never was going to. High energy, high motor. He had to play sixth man. It was the only way this was going to work, and his pride would not allow that to happen. Nonetheless, Lakers dealt with injuries all season. We saw that. This is the second time in 4 years that LeBron has missed the playoffs with the Lakers. And really, that's just not good enough. First time he came around, we had the young guys, and he activated playoff mode and failed to get there. This time around, still AD had the injury, had a superstar cast. I don't think there was much reason to not make the play-in, especially. But AD was out 38 games, LeBron 21 games, THT 18 games, and Trevor Ariza, world beater defensive guy, of course, 30 games not with the Lakers. And all of that with Russell Westbrook can be a disaster. Of course, you have a guy in Frank Vogel who didn't have a voice in that locker room. That could happen as well. The Lakers got to do better. LeBron, man, I hope y'all do better next year. I love to wear this purple and gold, but, man, it's embarrassing to wear it during the playoffs, especially when we ain't there. On to better news. April 7th through the 10th. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was great for the world. It was great for everyone who loves golf. Tiger Woods, the Tiger Woods, came back to play the Masters. And seeing him out there, getting to play all 4 days, making the cut, even though he didn't finish strong. Ended up 47th in the pack. But it was really great to see him out there, and possibly a Tiger and Tulsa sighting, just saying. So can't wait to see that live. That's gonna be pretty fantastic. The guy had a huge car accident, almost lost his leg, almost lost his life, and in those months from then to now, that was last March, I think. And to come back and play just 13 months later, it's really just incredible. A testament to what that guy can go through and endure for a sport we all love to watch and play. So it was great to see that. April 16th, man, I can't believe I still have things on this timeline. That's how long we've been gone. T.O., the Terrell Owens, at 48 years old, man, incredible. Catches a touchdown in the fan-controlled football league. I don't know if you guys know about this, but Tyreek Hill just intercepted a touchdown from Jameis Winston. He did a pick six just the other day. But this is a fan-controlled football league. Fans are controlling all of it, picking the plays. It's really neat. We'll talk about that one, of course, a little down the road as well. April 25th. This was just a few days ago. It's May 1st right now, by the way. And KD and Kyrie of the Brooklyn Nets. Everyone, Vegas, me, anyone who looked at this roster on paper says no excuse not to get to the finals. I still feel that way. These guys had no excuse not to get to the finals. Continuity, Kyrie not playing enough, Kyrie not getting vaccinated, injuries to Kevin Durant. I don't care. This team stacked, man. And getting swept by the Celtics isn't a shame because the Celtics are dogs, man. Those guys, Marcus Smart, Tatum, Brown, they got guys who are going after you defensively, and really all five starters can guard KD. That's pretty insane. So I understand why the Nets lost this series, but I have no excuse for them because their play on the court really showed it all. It's the first time in Kevin Durant's and Kyrie Irving's career that they've ever been swept in the postseason. Not once has ever happened, not when KD was in Oklahoma City, not Oklahoma State. And when Kyrie was back with LeBron, obviously that was never going to happen. When he was with the Celtics, that wasn't going to happen. Getting swept is not something great players really have done often to them. I know LeBron's had it happen in the finals once, but he was totally outmatched against the Spurs team, who was legendary. In this series, Kevin Durant, in all 4 games, was minus in plus minus. We've never seen that happen. Kevin Durant is a wonderful playoff performer traditionally. This was something different. Either maybe he was hurt, something we don't know, and he wouldn't talk about that because he's a class act. He wouldn't complain about something he was going through. He would just go through it and deal with it next season. But minus 13 in game 1, minus 10 in 2, minus 2 in game 3, and minus 6 in game 4. That's minus 31 for the series. And really, that we just didn't see enough from Kevin Durant. It was really bizarre, averaging 5 turnovers a game, only 26 points a game. And collectively, between him and Kyrie, they're averaging a total of 47 points a game, right? If they're averaging 47 points a game and their plus minus combined is minus 40, what do you think is going to happen? Look, this series was going to be doomed because of their play on the court, Kyrie's lack of defense, and really the Nets' total lack of defense. They had one guy in Claxton who was even remotely trying out there. So maybe next year, probably not. This Nets team needs a shakeup, a new voice in the locker room. I'm not sure Steve Nash is going to be able to fit that bill. I like the guy, but I am not sure he's got the moxie, I don't know. I don't know who can deal with the Kyrie, man. Kyrie's he's troubled in the aspect of, man, how do you talk and deal with a guy who seems to be delusional? He's one of the best talents we've ever seen on a basketball court. It's really incredible how he can master his skills on the court and have really no wherewithal about what he's saying to the media or about the media. We'll see how that progresses next season. Probably another flameout. April 28th, big deal for the NBA world. Luka Doncic. People are calling this guy, hey, Luka Doncic reminded me of Larry Legend, right? You remember that guy? That's Larry Antetokounmpo today. But Luka Doncic is showing things that we haven't seen traditionally in a white player since Larry Bird. I mean, obviously we have Dirk, and we've got guys, Nikola Jokic, who are doing great things in the NBA, but as far as shooting, the way his finesse is, he's kind of slow up the court. He's an amazing finisher at the rim, great passer. Luka is reminding us of Larry Legend a little bit, and the Mavs have finally won a playoff series with him. They haven't won a series since 2011, and that was the year they magically went on that run. They beat the Golden State Warriors, that wasn't the same year. They went on that run to oh Lord, I'm falling apart right here. The Mavericks ended up winning the championship against the Miami Heat that year. Yeah, I was like, that was the Miami Heat fall apart. They were up, I believe, 2 games in that series and then lost all 4 afterwards. Not positive about that, but I feel pretty strong about that. But the Mavs ended up clinching the series against Utah 4-2. Like I said, first time since the championship run in 11. Luka, is this guy really okay, they're saying he's one of the best playoff performers ever. And I'd like to argue, on paper, maybe he is. Look, so far, points per game, second, 32.7 to only Michael Jordan at 33.4. Okay, pretty impressive. For a point guard, obviously he's kind of masquerading as a point guard, as a 2 guard. He's averaging 9 rebounds. For his size, that's first among all point guards or all guards, 9 rebounds a game. For assists, it's 8.8, quite a drop to the number 1 Magic Johnson, of course, at 12. Magic averaged 12 assists a game throughout the playoffs, and Luka's only at 8, but that makes him 6th best ever as a playoff performer. So 2nd in scoring, 1st in rebounding for his size, and 6th in assists. That adds up to be a damn good playoff performer. So we'll see what happens in the second round. They've got a tough matchup. I'd love to see how it plays out. Some people are predicting the Mavs going to the NBA Finals. But we'll see how that goes. I'm not one of those people. And right now, before our very eyes, we've got the Bucks and Giannis going against the Celtics. And I look forward to that matchup. I've been looking forward to that because we get to see, we saw the Celtics stop a Kevin Durant. What do they do with a Giannis Antetokounmpo? Like, this guy is totally, I mean, he's dominant in the paint, something Kevin Durant doesn't do. He's got a pretty good mid-range he's been working on. And without Chris Middleton, you can see that he's going to dominate the ball and dish it out to all of his shooters on the edge. So it's going to be LeBron-esque those years when he was dragging those Cleveland teams to the finals. And obviously, Drew Holiday, no disrespect, is going to be there to dog everybody on the guard side. He's dominant in every aspect of the court. Fantastic point guard, and he's going to be there to facilitate. And Giannis probably beating the Celtics in 6, something Kevin couldn't win in 4. So who's really the best player on the planet? Probably that guy, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Well, the jersey, not Larry. But, man, either way, very excited to see how Giannis performs in this series. And just to be clear, I could see the Bucks losing game 1 and then gentlemen, winning the next, 4 or 5. So we'll see how that goes. That's kind of my slight prediction right there for this show. And honestly, it's been a lot of stuff we've missed since Set the Record's been gone. And I'm so happy to be back because, man, I love setting the record, man. We look at all the props, man. I got a dope ass jersey on Larry. I got stuff out here. We about to smoke a J here as well before I get through the rest of the show. The NFL draft came and went as well. That's something that just happened this week. And I'm not going to touch upon too many things that have occurred there. But to be honest, we did have some surprise picks. I thought the draft was really light this year. We had not a lot of heavy talent, in my opinion, as far as how do I put this? Flash players. There was no Cam Newtons in this draft. There was no Ndamukong Suhs. Usually a draft has got at least one of those guys at the top of the board. Travon Walker out of Georgia, obviously a great player. He was drafted number 1. I thought Aiden Hutchinson was going to be taken first. That wasn't the case, but I'm glad either way that these guys are all getting picked up and going to be making their money in the NFL. Nonetheless, a big deal. Tyler Smith out of Tulsa University got taken by the Cowboys, I think, late in the first round. Yeah, 24th overall. He's aggressive, an amazing run blocker with TU, a little penalty prone. That's something he hopefully is going to be working on in the training camp, working on his hands. But he's a very good run blocker, so we're going to look forward to seeing him, block for Zeke, blocking for, it's not Pollard, it's somebody else. They got a 2-headed monster back there in Dallas, so we'll see how that plays out as well. Something also that happened this weekend, Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. To me, it was the biggest women's fight of the year. It was last night, and it was a split decision win for Katie Taylor, which I don't agree with. I can't wait for the rematch. I actually think Amanda Serrano won this split decision. I thought the first round was a draw, and there was at one point that Amanda Serrano it looked like Katie Taylor was about to get knocked out. And I thought that round was won so dominantly. Even without a knockdown, I think I would have scored it a 10-8. Katie Taylor came on strong the final 4 rounds, and I know that looked good. But she wasn't doing a lot of damage. And in that final round, she was piecing Amanda Serrano. The last 10 seconds, the girls were just brawling at it. And it was really awesome to see. Definite fight of the year candidate, especially on the women's side. It was really awesome. So the rematch is going to be a spectacle. I do think Amanda Serrano won the fight. Robbery, I don't know. Judges see other things. I saw no aggression in the first round. That's why I call it 10-10. There was nothing that happened in round 1. And like I said, I don't have my scorecard with me. But like I said, I believe the 5th round, I would have scored it a 10-8, maybe. And even without that, like I said, Serrano wins the fight. Nico Walsh, or Ali Walsh, grandson of Muhammad Ali, the great Muhammad Ali, the greatest all time, of course. Got another knockout this weekend in a huge fight. Okay, this guy, he's fighting one of his bigger fights, I guess you could say. Kind of moving up in competition, fighting a guy who's been a veteran for the last 4 years professional fighting. Not too bad. But Nico doesn't even have to get out in the first round to win this fight. Takes this guy the last 30 seconds. He catches him with a huge right hand, and well, that's all she wrote. The end of the night was pretty swift for that young man. It was really awesome to see, because what's better than one Ali? Two. You know, I mean, come on. I mean, this guy as a heavyweight, especially on the male side, I know Ali's got a daughter, Layla, who done great things for women's boxing. But for men's heavyweight, this is what it's all about. So we're gonna see this young man progress. He's learning on the fly, and I hope to see bigger things in the future for him. So we'll definitely see how that plays out as well. Something else I gotta get off my chest just a little bit, and something that should be bothering more people who are huge Oklahoma City fans. As far as the Thunder goes, the Oklahoma City Thunder didn't have a fantastic season. But that was by design. We've got young players. We're fighting hard. These young guys are doing what they got to do to really step their game up. There are levels to the NBA, and really what we put on the floor this year was really special. I actually have an autographed ball here from Trey Mann. Something I won at the Thunder game just a few weeks back. It was really a spectacular day and a wonderful performance, because that was also the same day we beat the number one seeded Suns, 117-96, right here at home in OKC, right here at the Paycom Center. So no disrespect to this young team. And I think there was a little insult, I'll be honest, to our young man and Josh Giddey this year. Josh Giddey should have gotten a little more consideration for Rookie of the Year. I know he was injured. I know he didn't play all the games this season. I'm looking at the stats right now. He played 54 games this season. Okay? In those 54 games, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Okay. That's obviously not a lot in the points department. But that's second on our team. This guy was a playmaker all year. And honestly, I felt like he should have been third in the race for Rookie of the Year, at least. He got 0 votes. And I think that was completely disrespectful. He's a young guy. He's a shooting guard. He's kind of small compared to the two guys who are going for Rookie of the Year. So I just didn't agree that he didn't get the respect that he deserves. So Josh Giddey, shout out to you, man. You were third on my list. You still deserve consideration worldwide, because you did spectacular things. Your playmaking was wonderful this season. Your shooting improved, and I can't wait to see what you do next year for us. Hopefully we keep the little core we got going right now. I'd heard a trade rumor this morning with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander getting moved. So I really don't look forward to any of that. I don't want to lose Shai. Shai's a part of our core, a part of something we do at Oklahoma City that not a lot of teams have. They don't have a lot of not a lot of guys can play make like Shai. He's like what Harden would want to be if he were athletic. Really. Thunder up, Josh Giddey, man. Can't wait to see you next year. And before I close the show here, I gotta shout out to my boy Illinois. As you can see, I'm solo here on the podcast. Nobody else on the mic with me. But I just wanted to say these last few moments, Kevin Hernandez, thank you so much for the time you put in at Set the Record. The funny quips, the great takes, the good vibes, man. As you move on to new endeavors, thank you for your time here. I can't wait to see you on the blacktop or out there skating sometime. But I do appreciate the time you put in here at Set the Record. So thank you. Thanks for everyone for listening today. It's been a great show. I can't wait to break down a few more things for you throughout the week. Subscribe, follow Instagram and Twitter at Set the Record. Watch us on YouTube. Meditate. Make it go away. Peace.